Welcome to RecRoomWorld showroom. In today's video, we are going to talk about multicades in particular. We have three products available, namely the cocktail table here, which is a three-sided cocktail table, as you guys can see. And that means that this unit actually has the ability to switch back and forth between vertical mode here, and then if you push this button and hold it for 3 seconds, you'll see it going blank, and then it will flip around into horizontal mode. And what you want to do is you want to lift this whole thing up like this, and then you can sit in front of it and play games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and so on, anything that has a vertical display. So this is the cocktail table that we have. The other two products here that you can see, one is a Pac-Man style two-player layout with a trackball, which looks like the Pac-Man design as the original cabinets. That thing runs about 516 games in vertical mode. So this is a vertically mounted monitor. The reason there aren't more games on here is because those games, you know, eventually faded in arcades, and more of them were made for the horizontal monitors. But this has all your favorites on here. So anything that you know, would be considered a top game, like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Burger Time, you name it, you know, even Space Invaders, those were all early arcade years. They're all on here. And we have a list for both of these machines, the Pac-Man and the cocktail table, that you can pull up and see all the games that are available for these machines. I will actually link to those in the description below this YouTube video. Now, the last one here that we offer is a RetroPie unit. This is a brand new redesign of this cabinet. We added a 3-inch trackball here, which is a backlit trackball instead of the 2-inch that it was before. We also put glass here in front of the monitor to protect it. And as you can see, it has LED strips on the back of this cabinet. Those can be adjusted in color to anything you want, including rainbow cycle. So that is a pretty awesome unit because it is running off of a Raspberry Pi. You see it even has nice diamond plated bottom, actual coin door, and it runs a Raspberry Pi RetroPie on it. And this thing literally, if you go here to the all games category, I don't know if I can find it real quick, but I'm going to show you all these different systems that it has. It's totally nuts. Literally 23,000 plus games on here. Here's all games, and you can see here is the total available on this machine. So this unit here, the Pac-Man style, is our least expensive one. Runs a JAMA board with the 516 games I mentioned. This one is our highest priced multicade, but still much cheaper than a Windows-based unit. Currently at around $2,600. And then this guy here is around $2,200. Kids love the cocktail table because of the fact that it literally it's at their height. They can play in two different modes. They can play against each other in vertical mode. So let me go back in vertical mode. I'll do that here real quick. And that also has your favorites on here, about 500 games in this mode. You can see if I go in here, Pac-Man, Galaga, Frogger, Donkey Kong, you name it, it's all here. And what's neat about cocktail tables is that they literally flip back and forth between the two players. So if you start a two-player game, let's say Frogger or Galaga or Pac-Man, and you die on the first side, which by the way also has a trackball, a 3-inch trackball for Centipede. The other side does too. And then you die. So this entire screen on the cocktail table will flip around, and then basically the person sitting here will be able to take over as player 2, and it's going to flip back and forth until you've lost all your lives. But yes, this also has a trackball, so if you're going to play Centipede, you can play two-player against each other, and it flips back and forth. So this unit also is made really nicely. This is real glass, not plexiglass like most of our competitors. We also went out of the way, our way to round this off a little bit for design purposes. It's much nicer. There is an LED glow underneath here that you can turn on and off. As you can see, I just turned it on. So now it glows beautifully. It's lit right around the perimeter of this playfield. But you can also turn it back off. Just turn the switch off and there you go. So that is what that looks like. Beautiful design on top that draws your attention onto the screen. And remember, these are industrial monitors, not your standard consumer level monitors. So let me actually go ahead and turn this back on in the front so that we have better light to show. Here we go. Sorry about that. So you can see how these monitors are ironclad on the back. In their industrial strength, they last longer. And you have, of course, your LED strips like I showed you earlier that you can turn on and off. And these are your hydraulic bars that keep this thing open when you are sitting in front of the machine playing against each other. Games like Street Fighter or any other of the 3,000. There are literally 3,000 games in this mode. So I'm going to go back into this mode and I'll show you. There you go, it's going to switch. And you're looking at literally 300 pages worth of games here. Again, the list will be in the description, the link to the list. You can use your joystick sideways to scroll from page to page. There you go, and everything that you highlight, like this is highlighted right now, you can see a preview here of this game. This is called Pandora DX on this cocktail table. You can upgrade this JAMA board to any JAMA board that they come out with in the future. So if they have one that has 4,000 or 5,000 games, as long as it's JAMA format and made for vertical and horizontal cocktail tables, you can upgrade to it by just unplugging the one that's in there and plugging the new one in. So that's pretty nice in terms of upgradability. This one also has a JAMA board with 516 games. Same principle there. If they make another JAMA board with more than 516, that is for vertical monitors, which by the way, this is a larger 21-inch monitor, same deal as the other ones, all industrial quality. Then you can also pull that board out and upgrade. It's pretty simple. On this here, the RetroPie, realize that RetroPies, and in this case, it's the Raspberry Pi PC that we have in there. It's the 4B model, and this particular one can be upgraded with any micro SD card and image file that you can find on the internet. This is not locked down in any way. Again, we do not sell software that comes from a third party, but yes, everything that I showed you here, this is just one of the versions of Raspberry Pi with these 23,000 games that's out there. If you download and find one that has 50,000 games or more, it's easy to pull out the micro SD card and put the new one in. So again, upgradable. This is just the framework, the hardware that you're getting, and it's beautiful. It's very thin, so it doesn't take much room at all. It's a gorgeous cabinet, well built. Same here with the Pac-Man style cabinet, if you like that style, awesome. And then here is the cocktail. Let me talk to you real quick about why we do not sell Windows-based multicades. The reason why is Windows, by nature, is a problem child. It loves to mess up. It loves to create support issues, and especially when you have a lot of people in your family, right? People that, a bunch of different people that are going to use these machines. What's going to happen is somebody's going to mess up the Windows operating system by clicking on too many buttons at once or doing something that Windows doesn't like. And next thing you know, you're going to be down. You can't play your games. It's frustrating. That's why we've gone away from Windows-based multicades. They are also much more expensive, by the way. If you shop around and you look for Windows-based machines, you're going to be paying for the gaming PC level of power. Yes, there are things you can play on the Windows-based machines that you can't play here. For example, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, emulators, things of that nature. But those consoles are still around and you can still get them really cheap. So not really something that most people are after. What people are typically after with multicades are the actual original ROM games like Street Fighter, like Galaga, like Pac-Man and so on. And that's more than represented in these machines. There's nothing missing that you would want. This one here, highly recommended. If you go down, I'm going to show you here real quick. Give me a second before I continue so I can switch off the glare in the back. All right, so I want to kind of give you a quick demonstration of the RetroPie unit here because it is such an awesome product. What you have available. So first of all, let's talk about this monitor. It's very bright. It just goes into a dimming mode when you don't use it for a while, but I just pushed on my joystick once and it came right back. Super bright, nice colors. If I go down to the favorites category here, and I'm pushing my joystick down when I do that, you can see that there are currently 235 games in favorites that we've actually put in. And that is easy to remove and add with just one click of the button. See how we have everything nicely indicated on the control panel, how to exit out, and how to do all these other things. One of the things is here, add and remove favorites, back, select, page up and page down, and letter jump. And then here you have, if you push these two buttons together, you exit out. You have your coin 1 and your start 1, and on the opposite side, you have coin 2 for player 2 and start 2 for player 2, okay? So let's go quickly through all the categories. I mean, everything that is available on this machine. 3DO, Amiga 1200, CD32, Amstrad, the arcade, so arcade games, 2,561 original ROMs. So to get in here, you just push this button here, that's your select button. And what happens is when you do, I'll show you from far away, push it, and you end up in that menu. Super fast response time, and it will show you here as you scroll through these different games. I'll give you an example here. For example, this 4D Warriors game shows you a preview picture, and then at the bottom when it was released, who made the game, how many players can play it, and then a full description of the game. So it's well done. All of it is like that. If you want to jump back out, you just push the back button here, and it takes you right back into the main menu. Atari, all the consoles that we grew up with, the Lynx platform, Atari ST, Commodore 64, CD-TV. And by the way, you can actually remove categories here. If you don't want them all, it's easy to do. You can just get rid of some of these and just leave what you like. ColecoVision, Dreamcast, Family Computer, Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, 1,090 games in that category for the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Color, 588 games. Amstrad, a PC, Intellivision, Sega System, Sega Genesis, 1,142 games in that category. MSX, Nintendo 64, Neo Geo CD, then the regular NES, standard Nintendo, 1,339 games. Then you have your Neo Geo Pocket, Open Board, which is a side-scrolling fighting game category. Then you have PC Engine, PC CD-ROM, then a PC DOS game category. There are 8 games in there. PSP games, 122 of those PlayStation portable games. And then comes the PlayStation port itself, PlayStation 1, 485 games. So let me just quickly go in here and show you. So again, this starts out with the world is not enough. You have your preview, 2000, and scrolling text talking about this particular game. So that's just one of those 485 games in that category. Then next thing you have your Genesis 32X, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Super Graphics, Super Nintendo, 1,156 games in that category. Then Super Nintendo CD, Sharp 6800, Sinclair, Atomis Wave, Capcom, Family Computer, Super Family Computer, Custom Collection, meaning that's a collection of games that you can customize and put into one place. All games, remember, 23,000 on this particular micro SD card that's available for this machine. I will reiterate this. This machine is the hardware only. The actual micro SD card comes from a third party, and there are multiple of these versions available. The one that is available, that is tested and operational on this particular unit, that we know is working, is the one I just showed you with 23,000 games, but there are others out there that have even more games or less games depending on what flavor of RetroPie you are interested in. So that's basically it, guys. I mean, we have a nice showing here. Units that are steadfast, menu systems that run Linux. Nobody can mess those up. Not the kids, not grandma, and not nobody. I mean, it's literally going to allow the family to enjoy this for years to come. Relive the arcades the way it was meant to be played, either in a vertical setup, so that games like, you know, Galaga and Pac-Man are played exactly the way the monitors used to be back in those days, with this new 2-player layout with a 3-inch trackball for Centipede. Or if you want more games with the consoles, not just the arcades and also console games, then this is the ticket for you. If you want something that's low to the ground that the kids are gonna love to play, that has 3,600 games, which is more than enough, trust me, it has all the important arcade games on it. Doesn't have consoles, but where you have this fun factor of sitting across from each other, where the screen can rotate back and forth, or lift the whole thing up and play against each other Street Fighter, then the cocktail table is your ticket. So that's kind of a quick overview. Well, quick, 15 minutes, I guess. But it still gives you a good idea of the product that you can get from us when it comes to multicades here at RecRoomWorld, and I appreciate the support as always. Also, something I didn't mention is these are all black cabinets on the sides right now. Your choice of artwork is included in the price, so you do not have to, this is not going to be black. You can have it black, of course, but you can select from what we have available. It's included in the price. The marquee up on top is as well. What we do not change is we do not change the special material we put on here, since it already has the pre-written instructions on how to use the machine. That stuff is tougher quality than the normal stuff that we would put on here, so that it lasts longer over the years. So this stays neutral. It's kind of a honeycomb design for it to be neutral, black and white. Goes with all the designs that you can put on the sides of this machine, okay? Same with the Pac-Man machine, side art choice included, the top marquee also. Whereas on the cocktail table, we do not change anything. That's exactly how you're gonna get it. You're gonna get this grid pattern that, you know, brings your focus onto the screen, and the rest of it stays blank the way it is. You have your pre-made tough material on top of all the panels. Same on both sides here, same here, beautifully done. And remember, everything we do, we try to keep the quality high. You can get the cocktail table with or without these stools. So totally up to you guys if you want different stools, but they are available from us if you want them. Thanks guys, have a good one.